Peace enforced is not peace, it is but a temporary ceasefire. March 5, 2014. The wonderfully empowering energy waves that you light bearers and way showers have been sharing and extending during these last few weeks are bearing beautiful and exotic fruit of an extremely sweet and uplifting nature. If you could see and appreciate what you are achieving in every moment, you would be dumbfounded. You all chose to incarnate at this point in humanity's evolution so that you could assist in the process of awakening, which you knew would be both demanding and stressful, and you are doing great work, just as you intended and planned. That you would not experience real knowledge or awareness of the task that you had undertaken as you struggled to play your parts as was known to you before you incarnated, and you accepted it as an essential part of the divine plan. The part each one of you plays is absolutely essential and has to be spontaneous, an appropriate response to the situations in which you find yourselves moment by moment. Intuitively you always know what the appropriate response is, however, in the moment you have to make a choice based on the information presented in that moment, and because you are humans living in an illusory state, where nothing truly is as it seems, there is always room for error, and errors get made. By making errors you learn from your experiences, and it becomes apparent to you, if you are willing to see clearly what those errors show you, that love is always the only answer that will provide lasting resolution to any issues, problems, and conflicts that arise. Your history shows you very clearly that conflicts can never be resolved through force of arms. It has been tried, and tried, and tried, and it always leads to further conflict and suffering. Peace enforced is not peace, it is but a temporary ceasefire until the parties concerned are ready once more to go to war. There are now very few among you who have not become fully aware of this, even if all are not yet prepared to admit to the truth of it. Enthusiasm for war is declining rapidly, although it often seems to the few who are in positions to make the decisions to go to war that there are no alternatives. But without the enthusiastic support of their subordinates, and all across the world the decision-makers are discovering, much to their chagrin, that support is not forthcoming, the decision to engage in war cannot be made, and so it is first delayed and then abandoned. The threats of potential conflict in various parts of the world that are being reported by the media are but ill-considered attempts to prepare people to accept that, in certain circumstances, war must be waged to ensure world peace and stability. But, because the collective has decided to awaken, the hollowness of that kind of argument is clearly seen, and those who consider themselves to be the guardians of world peace with the right and the power to take a nation to war will not be able to raise the necessary support to do so. There may well be lots of saber rattling as the politicians save face, but the time for war on earth is over. As you know, the new age of peace and abundance for all has arrived and is being established all across the world as you way showers and light bearers channel, extend, and share in and intensify the divine field of love in which all of creation has its eternal existence. For eons the love of God, your Heavenly Father has been dreamt of, hoped for, and prayed for, but always you were judging and condemning one another, and by so doing closing yourselves off to love. Love is all-inclusive, all-accepting, all-honoring, it has no room for judgment of any kind. Judgment is of the illusion and therefore unreal, but you have believed in it, believed that God judged, and have frequently taken it self-righteously on yourselves to judge others supposedly on His behalf. What unbelievable and insane arrogance! Within the illusion you made an image of God in your own human likeness. You have many paintings of an old wise-looking and bearded man, very human-looking because that was what you chose as a representation of God. No image could be further from the truth, because the God that you imagined and worshipped was one who bore grudges and sought vengeance on those whom you, on His behalf, judged unworthy of Him. He was in fact utterly human, unreal, illusory. Finally, in these last few decades, the insanity of that kind of belief is becoming apparent to more and more of you as you move consistently and steadfastly towards awakening. You are being drawn onwards by the power of love to which you have finally started to open your hearts, and you have realized collectively that no image that any one of you could conceive of could give you even the remotest idea of what your Father might look like. He is. He is beyond description. He can only be experienced, and only by those who have discarded all within them that is unliving. And that experience, when it happens for you, will be one of infinite and utterly unimaginable ecstasy that continues eternally, brilliantly brighter than the brightness of all the stars in the universe combined. It is not to be experienced lightly or without enormous preparations that you start in on when you move permanently into the spiritual realms, leaving all form and matter way behind you. In the meantime, know that your awakening into love, into the spiritual realms, is far closer than you might think. Unfathomable joy will soon be yours because that is what you have chosen, and that is totally in alignment with God's will for you. And from there is no limit as you know yourselves once more as beings of infinite love. Your loving brother, Jesus. Channeled by John Smallman. johnsmallman.wordpress.com